After 1 month of MAF training, this is what my numbers look like.
Loving me was all you tried when you were around. I've been told too many times now. Yeah, loving me was all you tried when you were around. I've been told too many times now. Love you. But soon.
In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the problem with MAF tests. Yeah, I said it. Let's go to the track. Welcome to my channel. My name is David Waters. I'm the plant-powered runner, and I am on my quest to run a 100-miler. So what do you expect on my channel? Everything to do with running, heart rate training, gear reviews, nutrition, and all that fun jazz. So if you like the videos, give me a like, subscribe, comment, share it on social media. It really helps me. Home sweet home. On the track I am again. So for all of you that have been following for a long time, you know what is about to happen. For all of you that are new to this, well, I'm on the track and I plan on doing what's known as an MAF test. That is where I take 180 minus my age and I'm adding on 5 beats. And I'll explain the 5 beats later on because some of you may not agree. But this is all for science and I want to see where I am. So I plan on running 10 kilometers. I may go more. Not too sure where all that's going to end up. It could be 6 miles when it's all said and done, but I may want to see where the cardiac drift starts to happen. Flipping hot. It's like, I don't know, it feels like 34 right now. Celsius, which for all you in the US, I don't know, it's probably in the 90s somewhere. I did say that there's a problem with doing a MAF test, and the reason I say that is because the temperatures are never ideal unless you're running inside. So I am on a track doing this 1 month later because my last one was in May 8th. And it was only 8 degrees Celsius, which isn't really much in Fahrenheit either. Now I'm like way above, like I'm over 20. Like, I don't know, I can't do the math, it's so flipping hot. Anyways, it's really hot and humid. And so I am not really optimistic with where my training is gonna take me today, but we're gonna find out. And then we will review this whole track session once I get back home. The important thing when training this way is make sure you do a warm-up. 15-20 minutes, gets the blood going, tells your body what's going on, and it'll also settle your heart rate down. So you're not gonna be starting from 0. And so you should see a general progression downwards in your pace. Technology is not perfect. If you go out for a run, your strap may come loose. And if it comes loose, your numbers are gonna start to go crazy like mine have. Or it just has a glitch because it's technology and it doesn't show you the correct results. And so if you're relying on your heart rate 100% by using technology, yeah, you have to have some leeway. You know, downwards 3 beats, upwards 3 beats. It's just the way it goes. Now, if you've got a watch, right, your optical heart rate may not work that well because it may be over a tattoo. It could be on darker skin. It could be, it's delayed by 8 seconds like mine is, right? So there's all these other things that kind of comes into play. So don't always beat yourself up if you're going a little bit up or a little bit down. But like if you're going like way over, like, you know, 5 beats over, okay, then you need to kind of cool it down. Some of you don't have access to one of these wonderful tracks. Like my track here, it's not great. It's just gravel in an oval. And in the springtime, it's very wet and mushy. And sometimes, you know, it's closed, right? Sometimes your track is closed and you can't go out and run, right? Then you may get booted off by the school staff. or you may not even have one in your town. Whatever it is, running in circles may not be an option for you. You could live out in the country around a lot of hills, and you're gonna try, how am I supposed to do a MAF test on a track? Well, that's very hard for you to do. So sometimes you have to adapt. Now, I talked about the temperature, but I didn't necessarily talk about the wind. If there's a lot of wind when you're trying to do a MAF test, you're gonna be working harder. So this kind of goes into temperature, right? Temperature, wind, it's just weather, guys. And you can't compare month to month so well when it's like this. And that is a challenge. So sometimes you gotta go out earlier in the morning, and hopefully it's cool enough or there's not so much humidity that you can maybe string a couple of months together where your numbers look okay. But again, it's not necessarily ideal. Ooh, that was a hot one, guys. All done. Time to head back. Oh my gosh. Jump in the pool, stretch, and take a look at the data and how I did. Yeah, baby. That was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, guys, that was a hot one. Just got back from my run. Oh, I guess the daycare is in the house. That's where the people you hear. It's time to cool off. And I'm gonna take you with me. Woo! That was cool. That was one heck of a run, guys. Oh my gosh, extremely hot. And I'm gonna look at the numbers that happened today. So for all of you that struggle when it gets warmer, just know that you're not the only one. We all go through it. And it doesn't matter if you've been doing, heart rate training for a year, or you've been doing it for 2, or maybe even just 6 months or 3 months. It really doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference is the temperature. And it can play havoc, guys. It can play havoc with our body, but our body is smart and knows how to regulate our temperature. And we just have to go with it, and we have to trust our training. And I've been here once before already, so I know what I'm in for. So for all of you that may be new, who are watching to see if Maffetone training works, even when it gets warmer, then let's look at the numbers. So on our screen right now, I've got May 8th. All right, it was 8 degrees Celsius, sunny. The humidity is actually kind of rainy. It was 99%, but it felt like 6 degrees. Wind speed 11.4. All of those factors come into play, guys. Weather is a huge contributor to how you do. Now on the run, right, I only made it 7.8 kilometers, and I basically, threw in the towel after an hour because I didn't want to start walking. My Strava score is a 78, and that uses heart rate as a factor along with your weight. So the first kilometer was 7:43, heart rate 138. 7:43, 140, 7:53, 139. I was able to do pretty well with my heart rate, keeping it, guys, look, you can never be perfect, okay? Mine is 138, all right? But it's hard to keep it at that number because you're always looking at your watch and it fluctuates. And if you look up and if you start to talk, or if you move a different way, or however, there's a lot of these things that play a factor, all right? So I highlighted in red when I went over, all right? The rest of the time, it was like a beat above, or I got it right on the nose, all right? But again, looking at the numbers, that's what they were, right? Nothing, crazy. When I look down here, look at the graph, right? Pace, if I had to slow down, in a couple of spots, like I didn't have it, it wasn't really steady. It's kind of all over the place. The next one is my gap pace, right? That takes into consideration any incline, which there wasn't. Next one is heart rate. So this is what my heart rate looked like back in May. It was a little bit jaggedy in a lot of places. I couldn't keep a steady heart rate. It was a little all over. And this is my cadence, right? So it was a little all over, kind of choppy, all right? Now, again, I don't really look at averages too much, but on average, it was a 7:41, 7:35 gap pace. And again, I don't really pay a lot of attention when on a MAF test when I look at these. Average 139 and cadence was 170. All right. Now we're going to look at June 9th. All right, June 9th, which is today. 26 degrees, sunny, humidity 77. It felt like 34 and the wind speed was basically the same as it was last month, 11.6. But man, guys, it was hot. Basically, it was 32 degrees hotter, all right? And that plays a big difference. Now, I have been training for a month, all right? There's no doubt. So training was pretty well, right? The numbers are on your screen of how many kilometers I did. So on my phone, using my Koros app, it shows that I ran 162 kilometers for a time of about 24 hours, 19 minutes in the month of May. So that's what it looked like. Now, you dive into the numbers, right? 652 was my first one with 138 heart rate. Next one was 726 with 139, 724 with 139, 743, 139. And then the next 5 and 6, my heart rate kind of started to go up a little bit, 745, 757. Then on the 7th kilometer, 805 with a 139. And then my heart rates pretty much stayed 2 beats above my MAF number, 813, 822, 842. And I ran 10 kilometers, 1 hour, 18 minutes. My pace was way better than it was last month. Absolutely. The gap, it's the same, looks pretty much the same. But check this out. Look at my heart rate line, guys. Look at this. Yeah, I had a little bit of a bump, little thing kind of weird was going on there. But you look at it and it's pretty steady. And then you can see at the end, it looks like there's a little bit of drifting kind of in around there. But if you look at May, look what my heart rate was doing. I was all over the place. I was a mess, absolute mess. So my cadence, because I was a mess, my cadence was pretty much a mess. But you look at this month and it's pretty darn good. Yeah, I had to get really low there. I kept running, but I went really low because I wanted to get my heart rate down again. But if you look at it on the MAF, so on average 751 gap, heart rate 140, and my cadence was 169. But now let's look at the numbers that you really want to know, right? So how much faster was I on each one? So on the first one, I was 51 seconds faster than May. Second one, 17 faster than May. Third, 29 seconds faster than May. On the fourth one, I was 3 seconds slower. The fifth, I was the same. And then as we go on to the run, to run longer, it slowed down because the heat was just getting way too hot. 20 seconds slower, 27 seconds slower, 40 seconds slower. And I didn't put 9 or 10 in there because there was nothing to compare it with. So as you can see, the graph this is the way it's supposed to look. You're supposed to decline the longer you go. And that's what happened, right? Over here, I was a little bit of a mess. Over here, pretty much in line for what I expect to see on a MAF test after a month. So I'm pretty happy with this, guys. It does take time, but in a month, you can see that I have gotten faster, even though the temperature has gotten hotter. The longer I ran, it got slower because the heat just started to get to me and I had to slow it down. So the first number, the first 4 is a really good indication of where I was. After that, it starts to kind of break down. The temperature starts to play too much in with where I was at. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. And like I always say, Get out and run. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now.